Welcome into Rattler Up with Coach Walsh, live from San Marcos High School in the Rattler broadcast studio. This is where you have got to be every Monday. All things Rattler Nation. I'm your host, CJ Odom, and with me as always, San Marcos Athletic Director and Head Football Coach, John Walsh. Coach, first show of the 2023. How's your year been so far?
It's going good so far.
It's hard to believe February is almost here.
Man, it is crazy.
All right, well, it is a busy, busy time in Rattler Nation, and this week on Rattler Up in season here in Rattler Nation, we're going to have live in studio members of the boys soccer team along with their head. Huge production from this past weekend. We're going to have some clips from that show and see some things that are really making things exciting here on Rattler Nation. But first, Coach, let's get this out. We do this at the end of a show. Let's get it out of the way first. Let's hear your thoughts. Cowboys 19-12 loss to the 49ers last night in the NFL divisional round.
Man, I think it's taken me, there was so much talk the last 2 weeks of it's been 30 years since we've won a road playoff game. It's been 30 years. Most of my life, we have not been as good as I think we are. So, and it just, we just couldn't do it on offense.
Yeah, a winnable game, it seemed like. He's in. As a head football coach yourself, what any changes you make, anything that you would do if you're in a position of
that can get us past this round.
Yeah, tough weekend.
It's a tough question to start the whole show off.
My wife, at least we'll be able to have a Super Bowl party this year. Because if the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl party, I don't want to have people over and
there you
eat
go.
pretzels.
Sounds good.
All right, well, let's take a look then at where we stand with winter sports here in our Rattler Nation update. All sorts of sports going on. And as of today, here's what's officially in season in San Marcos, Coach. We got boys and girls basketball are in the middle of district play. Swim is about to head to district this weekend. Soccer, powerlifting, golf, tennis, wrestling. Coach, we've talked about it before, but this makes for an incredibly busy time of the year, correct?
Yeah, and then you add all the middle school basketball tournaments that are about to start, right, and the middle school soccer. So it's incredibly busy, but it's incredibly fun.
I bet you wouldn't have it any other way.
No, it's good.
Well, let's take a look and see what we've got. So first of all, wrestling, they've just got one more remaining until it's on to district for them. Austin Westlake this Thursday night here in San Marcos High School, and then district play takes place February 3rd and 4th. Coach, how's the wrestling team look 1 week removed from district?
Yeah, so we got a girls team and a boys team, obviously, but they're
a deep run.
Yeah, they're a lot of returners, and just knowing those girls personally, they're focused, and they're sweet off the mat and on the mat, And the boys are more of a developmental. We got a couple guys that could make a push at district, but
development, we had fifth graders visiting the junior high this past week, and there was talk there that wrestling's actually available to
middle school. And before I even went to our central office for a budget, I asked them, I said,
well, that's going to be exciting. Getting them hooked in early like that is so huge for all our programs. Well, of course, swim, they're also gearing up for district this weekend at the NEI game going into this weekend. Again, boys and girls ready there.
Right, and it's difficult here for swim because we don't have to put a lot of time in just like everybody else does, but they have to travel to put their time in.
Right.
So I think they're looking forward to hitting the pool and competing against the district.
All right, now golf is also in their spring season underway. Their first tournament taking place here in the first week of February, but this golf team really has kind of an all-year schedule, don't they? They
spring golf, and I'm really proud of Coach Munguia. It's his first year as a head golf coach, and team tennis in the fall, and then singles in the
they've
spring.
Both got their districts coming up. And then you got baseball and softball. We got scrimmages coming up right away this week, so everybody will be in play. And then you got girls soccer, which we're going to have that group on just as soon as we can get them on here on a Monday night. Max Preps shows them 5-4-1 overall to begin the season. They got one more left tomorrow night at Rattler Stadium to take on Wimberley at 5:30, and then district gets underway with a trip to Clemens on February 7th. Lots to look forward to on this girls soccer team.
Yeah, Friday night, and we played Cedar Park, which is traditionally, matter of fact, we had, from Denton where I'm from, we had won a state title in girls soccer in 2012, and in the Final Four, Cedar Park was there, and our current was playing Cedar Park last night, which actually had her sister on the team. But it was.
I haven't been able to make a game myself, but everybody I've been talking to is saying it's exciting. It's an exciting brand of soccer. They're loving watching. Now to the two teams. Girls basketball. We were able to visit with Coach Irvin and some of the girls during the pre-district portion of their schedule. They're really developing some leadership.
Freshmen, a couple sophomores to go with the seniors they have and juniors. So we knew there was going to be some growing pains. But just watching the games, they're close. I mean,
they're in each game.
There's one game, if they just make a few free throws, they win it. There's one game, if they don't turn the ball over, then they're in it. So I go to our volleyball. You can have two different kind of halves, and there's still a chance for them to get in. They just got to eliminate, get in the show.
No, and it's been fun to watch. I mean, they are in every game. They're fighting.
Right.
They're not letting it get them. So even though they stand at 28-2 overall, 3-0 in district play, and just this week they cracked the top 10. They are ranked number 9 in the state in the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches ranking. So, Coach, exciting team to watch right now.
Yeah, and we're finally getting healthy. We've had,
yes.
We didn't have Caden Gums for most of the year. Cash Good, and we go to Judson beyond the 22-game winning streak, and we go to Judson and face adversity. We don't play our best game. We're the game down 8, I think, with a minute and something left. I won, and another guy that's been on the bench, Cash Good, comes in, gets a steal, scores, gets another steal to ice the game. So everybody knows about Malik Presley. And 2 weeks ago, we had a game winner at the buzzer.
Right.
So man, it's fun basketball. It's winning basketball. Coach Dan Miller's. I've been saying it. I've been coaching for a long time. I've been an AD for 15, 8.
And we'll have more on that here later on in the Rattler Up show. But when we come back from break, we're going to go in depth with one team still currently in season, as we are joined by players from the Rattler boys soccer team, along with head coach Conrad Reyes. All that and more when we return here on Rattler Up. From the Rattler broadcast studio, and we're going to discuss their season early on. They are 5 games into the pre-district season, and we will start by introducing head coach of the boys soccer team, Coach Marcus.
So this is my second year here as the head boys soccer coach. I was over at Lockhart before this. I had the opportunity to sit with Coach Walsh and talk about soccer and football, and that's how I ended up here, and luckily took a chance on me, and here I am.
And so far from your team?
We're playing pretty fast. I like the way we're playing right now. I think we're building as we go, but I think we have a great team this year, and we're going to do really well.
Now, you mentioned speed, and that might be part of this answer, but,
this year, and we're going to do really well.
Now, you mentioned speed, and that might be part of this answer, but, there's all sorts of Rattler Stadium watching on game night. What style of soccer are you bringing with this team?
We're going to play direct. We're going to play fast. Our goal is to create and not force anything. Because a lot of times during soccer, you'll get 2 or 3 good shots, and it's what you do with those opportunities that really makes a difference.
Meet the players, so we'll just let you guys pass the mic around. You can borrow Coach's mic here as you're on my shoulder, but introduce yourselves, your name, what grade you're in, and what position you play on the team.
My name is Alfonso Salazar. I'm a senior here at San Marcos High School.
For the San Marcos soccer team.
My name is Diego Hernandez. I'm a freshman, and I play goalkeeper for the San Marcos soccer team.
What is it like being a freshman? He mentioned 15 returners on the team. How does it feel for you to be the freshman on the team and be in such?
And I'm glad they help a lot, and that they, just made me feel as if I'm home and made it feel as a family here.
Awesome. Well, that's glad to. So to our returners, let me start with you. To our returners, let me start with you. You've got the mic in your hand. What is it like having so many guys on the team?
Experience helps us a lot going through these games, preparing. They could teach us things that.
The season is to lead the team into playoffs. That's like our #1 goal, but yeah, it's basically our goal.
Okay, awesome. Things you do at the high school besides soccer. What else do you do here at San Marcos High School?
So apart from soccer, I really only do.
What about you?
I always take those ACC classes, get my college credits early. Same thing as him,
Awesome.
honestly.
What you're doing now at San Marcos High School?
Well, right now I'm not really doing anything other than soccer, but.
Awesome. They've got great plans, Coach. Is exactly what we want to have. So we want to take a minute now and recognize someone this week's Rattler of the Week. And so we are excited. Our Rattler of the Week, number 17, senior center back Alfonso Salazar. There he is. Looking tough on that picture. I like that picture. You're smiling, and it's really great with us in here. But That picture didn't look like somebody I wanted to. What do you feel like you've done early on this year that's really helped the team out in a lot of ways?
So, like, I say my leadership on the field, like, we have a lot of young guys, a lot of sophomores, especially as a freshman, and I feel like I've helped them, like, lead their way into the group, like, help them be a part of the...
Talking, or when you emailed us about who our Rattler of the Week was going to be, so talk a little bit more about why he...
As far as his leadership ability, he's a captain on the varsity soccer team, and just the way he carries himself out there on the field is something that I want all the guys to strive. He's got the highest GPA on the team. We're putting him in for...
So, Coach, we've talked in numerous segments about this type of thing, but how...
Really, sometimes when you ask, you get athletes on the show, these guys immediately went to, early college courses, so it's important.
Who you want to send a shout out to?
So I want to shout out my friend Rob. He's been going through
Joshua, been going through a tough time. I hope he recovers well.
The other goalkeeper on the varsity team for helping me.
Of the season, fans, we got to get out to the Rattler Stadium and see these guys in action. Fast-paced, direct forward action is what you're going to see. Guys that are really trying to make something special happen. It's time in boys Rattler soccer, and so thank you guys for being on Rattler Up with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we want to
Appreciate
turn our
it, guys.
attention to something a little maybe not sports-related, but something that has certainly involved a good number of our student athletes, and we are talking about a production that took place just this past weekend. 5 shows in 4 nights, Coach, across Thursday through Sunday in our Performing Arts Center as they put on a run of The Little Mermaid. The Fine Arts production was a joint effort of a great many programs and students from theater, orchestra, choir, diamond line, band, CTE. There were athletes in this show, you name it, Coach. It was a fantastic performance, and we want to make sure we get a chance to highlight that here tonight on Rattler Up. And thanks for joining us here on Rattler Up.
Oh, thank y'all both for letting me be here and to be a part of this. I hope that reciprocates from the fine arts programs, that y'all see that as well, not only on the football field but in other areas. And we just want these kids to all be to make sure all of our kids are getting engaged in different.
Talking about whether it's CTE, fine arts, or athletics, of kids from all over the place getting connected. So first of all, for those at home that were not able to join us this weekend, we want to take a look at a clip from the show. So we want to take a look. If you missed it, first of all, where were you? You needed to be there, but we understand. We want to give you a chance now to take a look at a scene from The Little Mermaid.
Under the sea, under the sea, nobody beat us, fry us and eat us in fricassee. We want the land folk, love the cook, under the sea we all.
All right, well, so.
Under the sea we all.
All right, well, so just a small sample, 2-hour show with intermission. It was an incredible thing. So, David, probably envisioning what really happened on that stage and the work that went into it as far as the number of people involved, all the different programs. Talk to us a little bit about
80 students and staff that were actually involved in this performance every night. And so, over the course of the 5 nights just spent, when you combine those 80 people times the number of hours, it was a 2.5 hour performance in and out, and just putting together a show that everybody could just enjoy. It was just a phenomenal attendance over the course of the 5 different performances. So some really good stuff. We had lots of volunteers. We had people that wanted to come after. Use everybody, but we got people in there, and they got to enjoy the performance. There's a lot of programs that are involved in this as well. Band, there were like 20 kids from choir. There were 11 kids from orchestra, and band had 7, or it was the other way around, to the subject matter, and letting kids see that, and then they ride off of that passion, and they have their own, and that's just solid instruction as staff members, as teachers, that made that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about, you see the actors on the stage, but there was work that went into the costume. I want to talk to you about, you mentioned to me before that one of the coolest parts of the show was the fact there were so many things that have either never before been done or haven't been some time at San Marcos High School. So talk to us about just some of the...
For theater arts. And the first thing I need to say is that over 80 students actually auditioned for this show, and there were about 4... that was a first,
right,
to have that many kids, because last year we only had about 30 people that actually even auditioned, and now we're at 80 exactly. And so then from there we've got a orchestra pit that had the lid off about to the pit. It was a part of the show to do that. We have actually had an orchestra in the pit for 15 years. The school has been open for 17. They did it for the first 2 years. Then we haven't really even had an all fine arts show, and Beth Woltman, who's the librarian here at the high school, she told me this when I was, and she said, Mr. Underwood, we haven't seen an all fine arts production like this since we were at the old high school, which is the current good. Things like that haven't happened in a long time. And to see the effort and the love and the passion for, stop talking to me for 8 minutes solid about how good it was. She said, where did you steal these kids off of Broadway? Because they're
something I was mentioning to Coach during the break, that even knowing a lot about what would go on and seeing firsthand some of the rehearsals and things, I thought, oh, this is good production. When I showed up Thursday night opening, I was blown away. There is a special award selection, the Hellers, that we are potentially up for. Talk to us a little bit about this process for how we might
have to record the performances, and what they do is they submit that to the Heller Award for Young Artists. Of people across the state, they put that in, and then they look at that, and we actually won some things last year. Awesome. And we are hopeful that we will have more nominations with this show, what we've been nominated for.
All right, we'll cover it here on Rattler Up for sure. We're excited about that. Well, David, we always give the students a chance to do shout-out. Volunteers and community members that had a hand in putting this show together. We want to give you this public opportunity now.
This list: Tommy Jackson, the theater arts director; Gabriel Balderrama, with the orchestra director who was directing those in the pit. 4 that were from one program, 7 from, we had different kids from different programs. We had 4 and 6, and players to actually be a part of that as well.
And like you said, never stopping.
Never stopping.
Start to finish.
Yeah, they're 2.5 hours almost, and they did it 5 times, right? Then Dawn Sheridan Reinhuber, who is the choir director, and her assistant Brigitte a ton of time to make sure that the singing and the music was really good from the stage side of things. And then all too well as a part of the CTE program, but she's also the cheerleading coach. And but she did some things with the costumes, and her cosmetology teacher, Brandy Lopez, also assisted. So those are the shout outs I would like to give, just those people who did a great recognition.
Well, I think everybody on that list is the epitome of what we've talked on this show about so many times. Rattler Nation and a commitment. So we thank you to those people that put that together. Fantastic show. David, thank you. Thank you for all your work in bringing this and making this happen. Thank you for all that you did, and thanks for joining us here on Rattler Up this evening.
It was my pleasure. We don't know what we're going to do next year yet. Everybody will enjoy next year as well. So thank you to the whole San Marcos community for making that happen, for being here, for support and attendance on each individual night and performance. It was phenomenal, and appreciate y'all having me on here and supporting the Fine Arts program.
San Marcos CISD, thanks for being with us, David. We look forward to seeing next year's show.
Sure, David.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's Rattler Up. It does. It seems like it's just one exciting thing after another here in San Marcos.
Yeah, absolutely. And just listening to David talk.
At about 93% of students at San Marcos High School are involved in either CTE, fine arts, or athletics.
And so I think it's right on par nearly with our daily attendance. Right. And if there's a kid out there that's young or a parent that
they have to catch the Rattlers in action this week. Lots going on. First of all, girls soccer will be at the Rattler Stadium tomorrow night to take on Wimberley varsity. First of all, tennis will host the Varsity Winter Classic out at the San Marcos High School tennis courts. Also, wrestling will have their final meet taking on Floresville. Varsity starts at 7. And girls basketball will continue district play, taking on East Central is tomorrow night. And that is the one that we want to make sure everybody is here to watch. Tomorrow night, Rattler Nation, you've got to be in the Snake Pit tomorrow as the 28-2 Rattlers, sitting at 3-0 in district and on a 22-game win streak, take on the New Braunfels Unicorns, who sit at 23-3 and are also 3-0 in district. Folks are missing out if they're not in the Snake Pit tomorrow night.
It's going to be, first let me cover one more thing we said. I don't mind about our girls, so they canceled on us. With it being rivals and it being neighbors,
absolutely,
both being to where you don't want to sit.
You're gonna be up top. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you to VYPE technicians here at the Rattler Broadcast Studio. Hunter Booth, we see you back there. Thank you so much for all your work and all the things that they do to make this show run so well. So this week for Coach Walsh, I'm CJ Odom. Thanks for watching Rattler Up.